What's up guys, and welcome to my Fire Knight Made Easy guide. When assembling a Fire Knight team, there are 3 questions you need to ask yourself. Number 1, how am I going to take down his shield? Number 2, how do I keep his turn meter down so the shield never goes back up? And 3, how do I build a team that can solve those first 2 problems and still make it to the boss in one piece? Let's tackle the first problem first, taking down the shield. The level of Fire Knight you're facing determines how many charges the Fire Knight's shield will have. Each hit from a champion's skill will remove a charge from his shield. Once the last charge is removed, the shield goes down and you're free to swing away. Once the shield is down, to keep it from going back up, you need to turn meter control the boss. To do this more effectively, consider bringing a champion who can place decreased speed on the boss, as well as at least 1 powerful turn meter control champion, maybe even 2. Then, once you've got your boss mechanics settled, now you just need to figure out how you're going to make it through the waves safely. Ideally, you can just kill them instantly with a very powerful nuker, or if your account just isn't quite there yet, the next best thing is a powerful crowd control champion. So now let's put that all together. The first thing I'm going to do is put in a speed champion. Personally, I like High Katoon. I've got better ones on my account, but just to show you that you don't need an insane legendary to fulfill this job, I'm going to use my High Katoon. Next, we need another turn meter control champion. Again, I'm going to use Armiger, one of the best turn meter control champions in the game. So now we have boss turn meter mechanics settled. She'd bring decreased speed, and my Armiger is fast enough to fully turn meter control the boss. My Armiger is built with 222 speed. He needs 100% crit rate as well, and this accuracy is for Doom Tower hard stuff. He doesn't need that much accuracy for Fire Knight 20. Ideally, you'd be between 200 and 240 accuracy on your Armiger. Okay, so now that we have our turn meter control settled, we're going to bring a decreased defense champion in Stagnite. He's going to do decreased defense and decreased attack, and he could help High Katoon place decreased speed on the boss. In addition, he has a 2-hitter A1, which will help us get the Fire Knight shield down. So next, we still need to figure out how we're going to get the shield down, so I'm going to bring in Drexlar. Drexlar's 3-hitter A1 will help us get the Fire Knight shield down. And then, now that we have the shield and the turn meter covered, we're going to bring in our crowd control champion, Narhorn. I'm just going to do an AI setup for these guys, so just to make sure we get that shield down. What we're going to do is set up everybody. Drexlar on the boss, we're going to turn off his A2. Say don't use. So he only A1s. And then Narhorn, we don't need this or this. So he's only going to attack with his A1. Stagnite, we want him to open with his A1 to help take down the shield. Armiger, because he has the mastery Evil Eye, we want to open with the A2 so that when the shield is down and he uses his A1, he'll actually reduce the boss's turn meter by 50%. And then we'll just let High Katoon do whatever she wants. Now, my primary damage dealer for the waves is actually Drexlar. His A2 is capable of hitting really hard. Unfortunately, I don't currently have him in a full damage build. He's wearing HP percentage gloves. Even still, he does pretty decent damage. And Narhorn is just there. He's going to lock down the waves. Anytime you see an enemy attack in this dungeon, they're going to be under provoke. That's just because that's how awesome Narhorn is. Now obviously, as you get better champions, you can scale this up. I just wanted to show a proof of concept that you don't need crazy nutty champions to complete Fire Knight. It's about building your champions fast, with good team composition, and having enough speed and accuracy to let them do their jobs. But this is the exact team I ran when I first cleared Fire Knight 20, and it's the team I used to farm it for a really long time. You can see Armiger's just having no trouble keeping that turn meter down, and a lot of my champions do have the Evil Eye mastery to give them a little assistance. What Evil Eye does is the first time you use your A1 against a target, it will reduce their turn meter by 20%. So with that little bit of initial assist up front from the Evil Eyes, Armiger's just able to keep the turn meter down solo. He is also getting a little bit of assistance from High Katoon's A3, which has a 75% chance to reduce the turn meter by 15%. And if you're wondering why I didn't use Coldheart for this team, it's because I wanted to show a Fire Knight guide without Coldheart for all the people who don't have Coldheart out there. Now, if you do have a Coldheart, she's an amazing Fire Knight champion. Like, Fire Knight and Spider are her two best places in this entire game. And I'll show a Coldheart team next after this. Alright, so I showed you my first ever Fire Knight 20 farming team. Once I got a few more upgrades, I evolved into a team that looked more like this. So I had Lysandra, who is capable of soloing the turn meter by herself. So she effectively replaced Armiger and High Katoon. So one champion doing two jobs. So that opens up more space for damage in my team. And then I pulled Cleopteryx. I did not fuse her from fragments from the login rewards. I pulled her from a shard early on. And then I pulled Brachus, who is my increased attack champion, and she was my wave nuker. We still use Stagnite for decreased speed and decreased defense. And then I also used Coldheart. Okay, same as before. We want, oops, opener. We're actually going to do this. Opener, don't use because the enemies will be dead and before they need it a second time. And we'll just do first choice there. Coldheart will say don't use your Heartseeker on wave 2. Or maybe I don't care, actually, it doesn't matter. And we want him to open with his increased attack. First choice. And then Cleopteryx, we want her to open with this, and then she'll open with that, and then we'll make this first choice, and then A1 opener against the boss. I'm actually going to set her to don't use the A3, even though it hits hard. I want her to keep the increased crit rate and increased crit damage on herself from this skill, and also her A1 has a weaken on it, so that will allow everyone else to do damage. My Brachus doesn't have really enough accuracy to rely on him to place the weaken on this skill, so I want my Cleopteryx to be using her A1 as frequently as possible to increase the likelihood that I land this weaken. So yeah, that should do that. But you can see side by side looking at these teams. So Lysandra is doing Armiger's job and High Katoon's job. Stagnite is still doing Stagnite's job. Crowd control, we don't really need crowd control. We just have enough damage to rip through the waves, so we don't need a Gnarhorn anymore. And then, so Brachus is doing the shield. Actually, Brachus and Coldheart are doing the job that Drexthar was doing, and then we just don't need crowd control because we have enough damage. So as you unlock more powerful champions, this is how your team can kind of evolve. Building a team is all about filling roles. It doesn't matter which champions are filling those roles as long as all the roles are filled. So as your account evolves and you unlock more champions who can fill multiple roles at the same time, that's when you can start squeezing in damage into your teams. The 6-hitter A2 to knock down that shield. Heartseeker for the turn meter. Unfortunately, we didn't have it speed tuned anymore. I used to have it such that she would only ever do it after Stagnite was able to place the decreased defense. But, you know, as you get more powerful champions, you tend to move your gear around, and so this team isn't speed tuned any longer, but it used to be. And it was, I think it was about a 90-second team back in the day. We'll see if I can match that. Oh, there we go. 1 minute, 19 seconds. So, in summary, when you're putting together a Fire Knight team, the things you want to consider are turn meter control, multi-hitting abilities, preferably on the A1 so you can customize your AI to open with those abilities, and champions who can help you get through the boss, be that through crowd control or big damage. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, happy raiding.